Welcome to Emuna is Our Future. Is the never give up victory? Victory. We're going to have V-Day here in the world, in Yerushalayim, with everybody. It's such an unbelievable reality that everything is turned around, just getting everything set up here, thankfully. And we have to appreciate how much goes into bringing us to Emuna weekly classes. We still don't have the Wi-Fi, so we're going live, hopefully the internet. We're not relying on it. We have our audio for our Brez of Israel podcast. Emuna is Our Future. And the focus is to never give up. Never, ever give up. That is the famous cry from Rabbi Nachman ben Simcha ben Fega, to never give up. That's the mindset that will give us the strength to overcome and transform, not just to survive, but to transform the coronavirus challenge, the COVID-19 challenge that we're all going through and gone through together. And please God, just like we have a challenge right now, getting Wi-Fi into this beautiful new studio, and we thank Hashem again for such a beautiful studio, and Rav Shalom Orish for hosting in Chut Shel Chesed in Yerushalayim, and part of the Brez of Israel Emuna team. We want to really give a lot of energy and spirit, that kind of spirit that we see from Rav Orish himself, constantly putting out, thank God, classes on a nightly basis. And now we have the Rabbanit. After the break, we now have beautiful classes about a winning mindset with joy, and we translate it for you guys in English. And we have to appreciate what's going on in the world, how this uncertain time that we're in is also giving us a 2020 clarity. There's a certain 2020 awakening and vision that we all need to sort of strive for. And that's the kind of never give up attitude that won us the war. Thank God I'm from England originally, and I'm a Jew. So I remember the V-Day celebrations. I don't know what it's going to be like this year, but it's 75 years since the original V-Day of 1945. Tafshin Hey, I believe. In the Jewish calendar, we're now Tafshin Pei, 75 years later, and we can't just let time fly past and not experience these victories, these moments of celebration. So please God, we're going to go back out into the world soon with the masks and with the sanitizer and all the different guidelines. But we're still going to be able to go out, and we're going to be able to interact. Hopefully we're going to be able to shop, we'll be healthy, we'll be well, and all the people Hashem Yerachem who suffered during this time and were sick, and Baruch Hashem, they had refuah shlema, or God forbid they passed away, and they are now in Shemayim, in heaven, praying, and they're bringing the current struggle into the heavenly courts and the heavenly system to bring down only mercy upon us all. And I was listening to so many different speakers and seeing how much unbelievable chizuk is available right now, that we, all of us, have the power to tune in to a new, renewed world, a world of recovery. I personally am building this vision that I had alongside the one with Rav Orish of making sure that our Emuna Torah is online, but also the vision of a unified real recovery. I'm building it, and please God, it's going to come out on a Unity Flow podcast. And I believe it will be totally consistent with our Emuna is Our Future podcast, because the concepts of recovery, the recovery world, the 12 Steps movement, and great thought leaders like Stephen Covey back in the day, and nowadays we have so many, thank God, who are putting out a very positive mindset for our generation to be vulnerable, to be real, to deal with your issues, not to run away. This is the kind of mindset that Rav Orish, ever since he's been putting out books the last 20, 30 years on Emuna, the Garden Emuna series, this constant reality of facing yourselves and being real. And all of us in some way need to do that process. All of us need to tune in to what's real and functional right now, because the key of Netzach Shebenetzach, which is today, the middle of the Sfiras HaOmer count, the middle of the count up to Har Sinai, is to do. Not only to experience the victories, but to create those victories, to do something about it, to be proactive, and to get that energy that we can all be in a society that's focused on a win-win. And I don't just mean the Jewish one, and I don't just mean people tuning in for the Torah, but as a world, we have the power now with the online platforms to create a win-win atmosphere where everybody wins. There's no reason it has to be poverty on an extensive level. I'm not talking politically now. I'm just talking about the concept of building others around you, doing kindness and being proactive in the ability to change the world to be more caring. Like we see now, even Facebook has a care button. So all of you can, yes, right now you guys can put that care button. Right now someone's waving to me because we are doing an experimental Instagram live on my Midnight Rabbi Instagram, Midnight Rabbi Inspires. And we also have the Breslov English, but we got more followers, thankfully, who are tuning in live on the Midnight Rabbi one at this stage. We are growing. We've, thank God, got over 2,000 followers now. That's something to celebrate on Breslov English. And we also have almost way over 1,800 and almost 2,000 on Twitter. And it's exciting how the Breslov English platforms are growing. And that's a big thanks to all of you. And what's the important part is that we're sharing the growth, we're sharing the Emuna teachings, Emuna classes of Rav Orish and our other staff like Rabbi Elgrod, Rabbi Diane Elgrod. He's a judge and he has the opportunity on a daily level to inspire us with his daily halakhic corner. And all of you have the merit to tune in there and to be part of that process of Sfiras HaOmer right now, of counting. He's giving us a lot of inspiration on loving others. And this kind of love for other people is a godly thing, is a very spiritual aspect. And that everyone in the world understands you have to be a mensch before you can really get to the Torah. And that's really Sfiras HaOmer in essence, that we're changing over the animal side, like Gedalia Fentz talking about in his wonderful live class he gave last night in Miami, this transformation of the animal aspects of yourself to become more godly, to get back to the light that we had. Pesach, we spoke about at the beginning of Sfiras HaOmer. In our previous classes, we mentioned that light, and then bridging that light with the Shechianu that we're going to make on Shavuot night, after making that Sheva Shabbos to Mimos, that we've reached that completion of the counting, and that climax of Shavuot, which is now only halfway, we're halfway there, 5 days away towards reaching that special Yom Tov that will give all of us that needed inspiration of a new Kabbalah Torah, a renewal of Torah, and please God, a renewal of health, the breathing, the real illness that we spoke about in last week's class. It's free. Hashem's giving us the Torah, b'chinam. All we have to do is just be there and be part of the process of counting and working on ourselves, getting our mind to a good place to build that vessels that we have kalim in, and also our heart to be able to really pray and want the Torah, to have a will, like Gedalia spoke about from Rav Orish's books, the New Light, which I gave that actual book. I gave it to Gedalia originally a few years back when we were in his home on Emuna Tour 2018, and thankfully he's learning it, and you can see he's put marks. And I remember last year when I was back, I saw how much he worked on that book, and you see from the New Light from Rav Orish the power of ritzonus, of will, and that's a big panemius understanding of this day, Netzach Shebenetzach, that we are in the middle of Sfiras HaOmer. The energy is there, the power to accomplish, the power to create new world recovery, new world Emuna, new world energy, to have a renewal of everything. And that was the secret, the sod of Rabbi Nachman. He's constantly bringing into the world a spirit of renewal. I was with someone last night called Nachman, and he has that energy of renewal, of flow, of chadshus. And that was interesting that, you can meet someone nowadays and they're walking with that energy of Nachman. I had a mashgiach when I was in yeshiva. It should be a Ilya Nishmas for him, Rab Buhlman, Rab Nachman Buhlman his name was. And he was someone who was very penetrating. He really looked at me and saw what I need to do, where my issues are, and channel me in a balanced, healthy way on my journey in Judaism. And I have an eternal appreciation for that rabbi, but he had that quality of Rav Nachman of being able to penetrate the Ner Nishmas Odom, this ability to go in and to know where the work, the shorish, the root, the source of all our struggles and pain and our ability to grow, where that is. And like he says, Emuna is Loshen Gidul. It creates growth. So we're all growing right now. We're in Sfiras HaOmer. We're coming out of the Corona Challenge. We're coming with a renewal and a growth factor that we shouldn't miss. So that's the idea, that right now, if there's this energy and this light in the world, there's a Rebbe that I follow in Yerushalayim. His name, I'll just put the energy down a little bit just so we can just tune in and breathe and internalize a moment. His name's the Tolner Rebbe, but his Yotzai of his Zayda is today as David Tolner on Netzach Shebenetzach. And it's interesting how we can bridge different groups of Judaism, like we have Chernobyl and Breslov, they were seemingly misnagdim. They were seemingly the Chernobyl were more misnagid to Breslov. I don't know if Breslov was misnagid them, but it was a certain an opposition, let's say, in a positive way, as best positive we can be in the history. But the beautiful thing is that personally I have a connection with the Tolner Rebbe, and every year he encourages me to go to Uman. And like we said, we're visualizing, we're praying that Uman should, please God, materialize. And if not in Uman itself, please God, the light of Uman should come to wherever we live, to please God, hopefully we pray very much for Yerushalayim and Uman Yerushalayim. Imagine Rabbi Nachman with Tchias HaMeisim walking the streets of Yerushalayim. So this David Tolner, it was a Rebbe a few hundred years back, a very strong and charismatic and wealthy Rebbe who was able to be mashpir, to give over a lot of energy at that time of the world in Ukraine and in Galicia, which is where I'm originally from. My father's originally from Galiciana, and it's good to know our roots. Like my family ended up in England, and that's why for me, like now this week, Winston Churchill's V-Day is something I get inspired about, because I see the power of struggle with all the negative forces that existed in the world that time in history during the Second World War, and it was a big struggle. So it would be amazing to see like how in our generation, 75 years later, we're coming out, please God, our own struggle, and we can't compare what the kind of struggle that the Second World War was and the Holocaust, God forbid, Hashem, we should never see such a thing, never again. But the concept of never giving up was so alive, and it was so real that even after the beautiful Judaism of Europe that was around in those times and before was then seemingly destroyed, there is now, thank God, a live and existent Hasidus of Breslov, an existing Hasidus of Tolner. The Tolner Rebbe spoke last night and sang old songs from the day of David Tolner and read from a Tehillim, a Psalms from David Tolner, his own hands, who was a Talmud of the Chernobyl Rebbe, who was a Talmud of the Moranaim, who was a Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov, goes all the way back to the originations of Chassidus. And Rabbi Nachman, we know, obviously was a great-grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, and that revolutionary light that came into the world is now manifesting in the 2020 time as the biggest tools for our generation to really enliven. Now, the only issue is, as I was speaking to Mordechai Ben Avraham, one of my friends, as part of the crew, we also have Nissan Black, also speaking with these kind of guys, how can we create that renewal? And so, obviously Nissim's with the music, but Mordechai Ben Avraham, his approach is to give a very real, vibrant, I'm reading his book right now, be very interesting when it's ready to publish, how it affects everybody out there. But this idea, and he even encouraged me personally, I don't know what you guys think, but he was saying, I should write a book. Maybe we'll see. Imagine Emuna is our future book. I don't know. Or however it goes, a Unity Flow book or something like that. Maybe it'll be about this whole real recovery that we're going to go through, about this whole time period. I think it's something that needs to be documented. Interesting, the point is that Mordechai Ben Avraham was giving over that we need to be very up to date. Like right now, we've got an Instagram live feed, and please God, we'll have a YouTube feed once we get the Wi-Fi up, and we've got the Facebook feed, and we've got the podcast, and we've got to be where it's at. We're doing little small videos so we can put them all around TikTok and everywhere. It can be a reality that everyone in our door, in our generation, can be in tune with and relate to. And it's something which, can be pushed harder, like with more energy and more determination, to make sure that the internet experience that we're all having on a daily level now shouldn't become addictive. And that's why I come back to that real recovery. We need to have tools of therapy and guidance, how to, on an accessible level, and how to not become controlled by the internet world, but rather to elevate the internet experience so that they have these alternative realities we go into. We're experiencing something within when we go online, or a video, a movie, or something like that, something very powerful and profound. I don't know, like the Lord of the Rings, or this Crown documentary on Netflix, all this stuff that's going around and around, to be able to not get totally drawn into that world and realize that we have a mission to do in this world. That all of us have a purpose. Everyone has their tafkid, their mission, their unique reason they were created. And to understand that we should never give up on working on accomplishing that and being victorious. That all of us have the power to build those dreams. to build those goals, to manifest them, to make them into reality, that with objectives and call to action to make other people inspired to do it. Like we saw so well demonstrated by the Lubavitcher Rebbe through Chabad, we see how well they've achieved their ability to impact the world. And nowadays, thank God, it's gone onto an individual level to everybody can do it. Every single person listening here can become their own influencer in their own way, have their own channel, and all the children and all the family and everyone in their own way can find their way to be a mashpia, to bring that good energy into the world. So since we're holding at a time right now which has a lot of energy, we have to focus. And right now we have to remember, we have a weekly class, Emuna. You guys, please go. We'll get the Wi-Fi. We'll get it all up to a new level. And we're going to be here, please God, on time. Today we're a little bit late, thanks to our recording guy. It's all good. And we'll be here. Jerusalem is the place. And I'm a Kohen. We have Parshas Emor. We have the idea, this kahana, this vikidashto, this ability to honor the people who are priests, to be able to, that they should be able to do their service of God with peace of mind, and to be able to have the joy, the simcha, because part of the avodah of the Kohanim is that one of the reasons why they can't marry an almana, a widow, is because there's a certain aspect of, sorry, not a widow, a gerusha, a divorcee, but the Kohen Gadol can't marry an almana, a widow. So there's an aspect that to be able to do the optimum level of avodah hakodesh, or holy temple service for the whole world to reach its tikkun olam, they have to be in a state of mind that's positive. So we learn out from this week's parsha the importance of simcha. We have all the chagim in this week's parsha. We have to be simchadek. We have to be happy. We're going to read about the festivals. We're going to read about all the light that comes down in the world through these special times in the year. We're going to have Lag Ba'omer, please God. It's just going to be a whole different level, Lag Ba'omer. The Netzach is a great preparation because it's the right leg going together with the left leg. That's the hod, the humility, that once we've been victorious and strong in doing what we need to do, to have that humility to understand that we don't know, that, like Adalia put very well, one of the best things to do is to say, I don't know. You're in a fight with someone, or God forbid, or people are upset with you, or people are demanding things. You can't always know. You definitely should be responsible and try, but you can't always know. You have to have humility. And that gives our Emuna chizuk that we need for our soul, with these netzach and hod, these two legs, to stand up strong and to tune into that oneness, that unification, the Moshe and Aaron who represent those two aspects, Moshe Rabbeinu and Rabbi Nachman's light, and Aaron Kohen, the whole concept of people who are beautiful power that's within, to really tune in to our soul. So every one of us can build that, and I really feel like it's just sort of like at a point where it is where it is. I'd like you guys to share the link. I put it there underneath. I want you guys to get more people to be tuned into our WhatsApp group so they can be part of the feed of Emuna classes, Emuna posts, Emuna content. And please God, you guys, if you have stuff you want to share, I do post other people's content as well. I'm happy to include it in the feed and all the different platforms. And it's all part of that unified experience, that we are not like exclusive. We're not trying to control anybody. None of this negativity that sometimes goes on underneath. It's only positivity that I'm seeing, thank God, on the live feed, that we're all building this together. We want to build a new world of positivity, and a world where we can have acceptance, a world where not only do we accomplish like Netzach, we go and we do what we need to do, we also have the humility, the balance, and that light comes together in the following week. We'll talk about it, please God, next week with Hod, like Ba'omer. It's a very inspirational time, and we're getting ready now for the last part of the Sphira. This is a part where we're already starting to now internalize and make lasting foundations. So all of us are ready to now go out to the world. In a way, this whole challenge has been perfectly orchestrated, and that's the truth of divine providence, that the Kodesh Baruch Hu was perfectly orchestrated, everything historically and spiritually and emotionally and physically, materially, and all the different things going on, perfectly orchestrated to be unified, to come out, that we would go out of this time period, please God, with a renewal. We have the ability to do tshuva, really, to real tshuva, not some funny, bang your chest and pretend and grow a beard or whatever. The real, and if you're a lady, to become all sneers, to really be sneers, to understand the inner aspects of sneers, to understand the inner aspects of what it means to have a beard, to be merciful and kind, to be loving to your family, to your friends, to really reach out to another person. So anyway, what I would say, I would like to end off and just say to all of you guys that as we're reaching this climax of the Sfiras Omer, that all of us have the power to be enlivened, to be energized, and tune into the teachings of never give up, to keep going ahead and be victorious, to celebrate those victories, to have that vision of victory at business with win-win, and victory at home with, please God, with good relationships, with victory in our work, in our spiritual work, to have a flow, to be tuned in with prayer and Emuna and Esbodidus and mikveh. Please God, I'm looking forward to get back to the mikveh, to go back to that place of purity and renewal, please God. And we should see that together. You guys, you're just as much part of it. You are part of the sharing flow. And I'm happy to say that we are expanding our viewage, and that's your merit. You're part of that. And please God, you guys, I can't wait to one day see some of your classes going up and your inspiration, because in the end, the most important thing of a leader like Moshe Rabbeinu or Rabbi Nachman is he wants everyone around. And Aaron and Kohen, he wants the whole world to be lit up, the whole world to become inspiration, and to be in a place that we can enjoy and celebrate together the ultimate victory of Mashiach Sekenu b'mehei v'yameinu. Amen. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Should all feel good. Let's get this moving.